Welcome, angry faithful, to this 1911 special edition day. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the Doge balls, but we're today is the pitiful day that John M. Browning got the patent for the 1911
Pitiful day? What you mean, fateful day?
fateful day.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the 1911 is a gun that a lot of American males carry around because they think they're too manly for a 9mm. But there you go. I digress. But for the rest of us who are keeping score at home, even though David absolutely refuses to acknowledge the day, this is the over-commercialization of love. Welcome to the 2025 edition of Valentine's Day.
Yay. Anyways, so a lot of stuff has happened this week.
Oh, we knew that was coming.
Saw that one a mile away, but all right. A lot of things has happened this week. We got Tulsi Gabbard getting confirmed. We got RFK getting confirmed. Tulsi Gabbard didn't do I don't know if she is I know she's confirmed, but I don't know if she took the oath of office yet.
Yes.
It wasn't filmed, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't find anything. I found everything on RFK, but I didn't find anything on Tulsi Gabbard.
I was disappointed because I thought at least Bernie might support her because she sure put her support behind him.
Well, that's the political landscape, unfortunately. A lot of people the best description you can get off of something like that is the old Looney Tunes cartoon with the sheepdog and the coyote. They both clock in. Hey, how's it going? You doing all right? And they clock in, and as soon as they clock in, they're at each other's throat. And as soon as they clock out, hey, good day today. Yeah, good day today.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders reminds me of the food health inspector from Bob's Burgers.
Just let this be fun for me.
I mean, it's just, dude, he is such a miserable human being.
Yeah.
He's never held a real job in his entire life. He's a career politician, you know, and it's like when remember, what was it, 8 years ago, people were knitting dolls of him from falling asleep at the inauguration.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a great time to be alive right there.
You know, bazillion memes off of that.
You really find out who the hammer and sickle friends are in your life because they're the ones who have the Bernie Sanders stickers on the back of their cars during the primary season.
Yeah.
They're like, Bernie's the man. No. People who vote for Bernie Sanders are the same people who probably enjoy getting chastity cages strapped to their junk while they watch their wives get filled out like a job application from everybody in the neighborhood, but them.
Yeah. But we got to mention the real hero this week. We don't know his name.
Oh, that man right there. This is the personification of zero fucks given.
Yes.
And I'm on board for this chaos.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's
roll that beautiful bean footage, Duke.
They got him from England. You know, he was one of those guards.
EasyCater is the premier tech platform for ordering food.
Oh.
Free advertisement. We don't like it, but we'll accept it every once in a while. We got like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go.
You're fired.
And let me be state officials, them
blah,
authorizing
blah,
down
blah,
in
blah,
the
blah,
court of partisanship. We're at war. We've seen them say, take this to the streets.
There we go.
It does feel like the Democrats are kind of back on their heels trying to get control of the messaging, much less the substance of all these different things that are happening, Dana.
And I think with, the one congressman I can make out there is taking the photograph right now. I believe that's Maxwell Frost, and they're talking to a security guard. So let me just turn it back over to Sandra to ask you another question as we watch these Democrats who, I guess it's performative art in a way, Sandra, to try to make a point.
Absolutely. You notice the camera's up, and you're noting Maxwell Frost, the congressman from Florida, in the picture there. Apparently, this is a security guard. But Shannon, obviously, this is just further signs of what is to come. I spoke with Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, yesterday, and asked her about the president's intentions with the Department of Education.
You know what I love about this guy
detailing
is that he stood there for everything, right?
Been a lot of talk about
the number of
dismantling it
times
altogether
that
or
those
reworking
trolls
it,
came up
but we
there
just
trying to
don't
break
know,
through
and
those
that
doors,
uncertainty
we're
leads
members
to
of
a lot of
Congress.
this.
My responses,
It
my
does.
responses
And
would have been
conservatives
very
have been
good.
talking
Ask
about
like,
this for a long time, that they feel like states have a much better.
bummer, man. You know?
They were even showing the their IDs. We're members of Congress. We're members of Congress. Listen, if you're not okay, I'm sorry. And what he did was his job.
Yeah.
And everybody can and you can go in the comments if you want to. I don't care. If you want to say, oh, he didn't let those people in. Listen, even a lot of Congress people that actually are in Congress say the same thing. These people think they're entitled to everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite things, like, they would always tell us, like, if somebody sticks a camera in your face and they're asking you a bunch of questions, the one thing that you do is just refer them to the public relations office. Like, that's all that dude was doing. I mean, he's just like, yeah, I don't care. Oh, I already showed you my ID.
Who's Maxine Waters?
Maxine Waters is the detestable ancient. She was running for Congress when Jesus was giving his first sermon on the Mount. Kind of she's from the Houston district. Why the people in Houston, Harris County, Montgomery County, why they keep voting that woman into office, I have absolutely no idea.
I would say she's the representative of St. Louis, Missouri.
No, Maxine Waters, Texas. I'm not. I'm correct, right?
She is an embarrassment in Texas.
Thank you. Yes, I was like, wait a minute. Am I suffering from like a?
That's what it comes up when I Google it. That's when it comes up when I Google it. Maxine Waters. That's the lady that's in it.
You know what's funny is I saw it on Twitter and it said Maxine Waters could single-handedly cure the foot fetish. What the hell are these? And it showed a picture of her feet stuffed into some heels. Dude, You want to talk about hammer toe and some high arches? I'm like, they need to use her feet. They need to use her arches for the high jump event. Because
for Houston, we're thinking of what was her name? Bernice something or other. She was another real ancient shrill black lady. That's who we're thinking about in Houston. Maxine Waters is from California, born in St. Louis.
Okay, yeah.
California?
Yeah, she's a California representative.
Why did I think she was
thinking of? I know who you're thinking of.
Because you got her mixed up because they're both really ancient and.
To be fair, most liberal women are kind of atrocious anyway. So
yeah,
no,
Johnny.
You're thinking of wore goofy hats all the time in Houston.
It's like Samantha or something like that. I think I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about because she was the idiot. There's like an AR-15 weighs as much as 50 boxes or 10 moving boxes.
Yeah, and it's what is it? It's
but she passed recently.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, talking about 50 caliber clips. Yeah, that woman. I love listening to the left talk about guns. It's awesome. It really is.
Eddie Bernice Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Water. Why did I think?
No, Shelina Jackson Lee.
Sheila Jackson Lee. Thank you.
Yes.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when we don't do politics for a living.
Yeah.
We get confused just like the rest of y'all, except I'm completely and totally comfortable identifying as a male, not a cis male, but a male, a biologically born male.
Well, there's only two genders, Johnny. So
Well, I get that.
You verified that.
It is the business of the United States that we will only recognize 2 genders, and they're 2 great genders indeed.
I still like this whole joke. I
I'm
was
working on it. Working on it.
I still like this.
You know,
joke.
you gotta be real chill. You just gotta flow into it. You know, there's only two. You know, it can't be helped.
No, what I was saying is I had this joke written up is like, how does an archaeologist know that it's a male or female? Well, you look at the rock carving of the penis on the last part. I think it was male, but you can go for the hips.
It's like how can you tell what the caveman used to do for a living? This one was an infantryman. See the dick drawn on the cave wall?
What's that meme? Not Killjoy, but the new one.
Kilroy. Kilroy.
Kilroy was the one from World War II.
Yeah,
there was a new one. Yep. There was a new one that the Marines made. Fish told me about it, and he talked about it. And another guy from work talked about it. It was
Crayola Carl. I mean, what's going on?
No, what sucks dicks. And it was on every core body.
Did you see that Elon for a little while changed his screen name?
Did he really?
It confused the liberal media because they don't realize, they just hate him. They don't really pay attention to him, and they don't realize that every once in a while he just changes his screen name to something bizarre, whether it's a video game or something that's going on. And he changes to Harry Bowles, Bolz.
Oh yeah.
He ran with that for a while till they got so confused, and now I think he's back to Elon.
I love the fact that Elon, while he is arguably one of the richest man on the planet, but one of the. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Well, you got to think that we don't know the full extent of the Saudi prince or Putin's amount of money, because that tells
okay, David.
Shut up, Meg.
Jesus. Anyways,
you got to be more accurate. Sure.
Saudi Oil Company is the first or second most valued company in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Negative visualization, Jerry, explains a lot about where you're at.
Exactly. Anyways,
optics,
that
buddy.
was a golden oldie right there.
Yeah.
See, Jake he's not been
privied of watching the show.
Yeah, he hasn't been privy because the show occurs here in the house, but he doesn't watch it. I mean, at least while my wife does not watch live, she does watch clips, and then she does watch the TikTok videos that we release, and then she reposts them, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But my oldest stepkid just sits up there, all high and mighty in his tower. Exactly. I mean,
you really are your father's children.
Yeah, exactly.
I travel around. See, I travel around. I'm in Pennsylvania right now.
Yeah, that was another thing that was really crazy. The retirement fund, the retirement documentation for the U.S. government is in a lime seal cave. And if anybody wants to say this is new news and everything, no, it was documented, I think, back in 2016 by New York Times. And at the time when they reported it, they were saying, "Oh yeah, they have like 600 people going through this stuff." Now it's 700, so they added extra 700.
I mean, because the elevator got stuck. So, I mean, nobody really thought about it, and they're like,
just pop it back in.
Exactly. So, it works, but yeah, it's almost Yeah, I understand why they do it because it's very climate controlled down there, remarkably with minimal effort. But it's one of those.
They've been trying to digitize it since like 1996.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's they only 10,000 people can retire a month because that's as fast as the elevator goes, and it's 200 feet deep, 330,000 square feet. And it says in 2021, they tried and failed to digitize it. Iron Mountain is really itself, the mountain and Iron Mountain, and that logo is a third-party company. And I worked for them back in the early 2000s. They do offsite backup security, and I worked
Did they
for
give you
them.
like a secret password?
Do what?
What was the password?
Oh, there were no passwords. I had secure. I had secure locked cases that I would put 3480 and 3490 backup tapes in, and then they would come and pick them up and take them off, and we'd rotate them out weekly.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
when
I know that you're trying. I know that you're trying to be serious and you're trying to get out a message here. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Fucking sneaky bastard.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you had mentioned that about Tulsi getting confirmed. The other big news is Cash making it out of committee.
Yes, he did.
Kidding me?
He goes up for vote tomorrow.
Oh, don't see.
Not tomorrow.
No. Is it Monday?
No.
Or are they waiting till Monday?
They're at the G7. A lot of the people are at the G7 now. I think this weekend. Isn't it this weekend? They're somewhere over there this weekend. But one thing that excited me is I watched.
Why are they over there? I mean, I understand Vance being over there because he's over there on orders of the president as a representative. But why is Congress over there? Why are members of Congress there?
Yeah, I think there's several there. And even if they weren't there, they need Vance on site in case he does need to break the tie.
He sent the tiebreaker from Paris for RFK. Because they needed RFK
was 48-52.
Yeah, he didn't need
that. The only tiebreak so far was Secretary.
I read somewhere that he had to
Hegseth, and he had to be there. They said he had to be there in DC for that vote.
Might be the same reason why he has to be there for Patel's vote.
Well, one thing that excites me is it may be because the Republicans' House might be getting their shit together. It looked like they weren't. But Chip Roy posted last night, he has reluctantly approved a continuing resolution. And he was one of the big holdouts that we were worried about. And all of a sudden, when he did that, I'm looking at I follow the betting markets, and all of the betting markets for Trump's picks getting confirmed, including Kash Patel, went to 99%.
Oh,
so I think that's a sign that that they're united now. And
yeah, like I say on the
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried. I don't know about Lori Chavez. She is just so pro-union. I mean, sure, we got the union vote, but man, she's done some goofy things in the past. Goofy supporting that. I dealt with the National Labor Relations Board. I sued the union on the flight line back in the late 80s. Yeah. And I ended up winning. But one of the things is the National Labor Relations Board is supposed to be for everyone and non-biased. And when I approached them, they were in the union's back pocket.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we got the National Right to Work Foundation involved that they came down to Shepherd that we won on a real goofy technicality.
I understand why we need unions. I understand why we need unions and why we have unions. but we've actually created laws since then. Because the whole reason why we had unions is was starting out, it was the Teamsters, and then after the Teamsters, it was coal miners. And what they did back in the day with Rockefeller and the Vandermonts, those are horror stories that I've actually covered. Nowadays, it's kind of paying insurance nowadays with unions. I hate to say that, but they still do really good jobs on certain things, but a lot of stuff they actually get in the way with a lot getting like a blockade with a lot of stuff. I'll never be for or against it because it's a necessity to have.
Yeah.
But
Well, we didn't need it out there at the time, and they lied like hell to the people. The flight line gets paid by the AWD, the Area Wage Determination. Most of the time when a union negotiates, they use the local general vicinity. But the area wage determination that's in encompasses the Metroplex. So their pay out there is based on averages, including the higher pay in the Metroplex. When the union came in, the contract that they made 3 years out, we were going to get more next year than 3 years out because the union had to go by the local.
Right.
And then they told the people that if you were part-time, you got extra pay by the government to cover those benefits. You didn't get the benefits, so you got to pay for it. And the union was telling the part-time people, "Oh, you're going to get that too." And I said, "Look, you're not going to get the best of both contracts. You're going to get either the union contract or you have the AWD through the military." And they were shocked when the union came in, and all of a sudden the part-time people lost several dollars an hour immediately. Now the union was trying to run it like a closed shop and force everyone to join. Turns out the area where the flight line is on is leased from the state of Texas. Normally, the land that a base is on, it secedes from the state and it becomes 100% government, federal. So it would be subject to the closed shop. But since that's not, and the Right to Work Foundation wasn't going to mess with us, and then I told them that little detail, and they said, "Oh my God, that's going to affect bases all over the country." So they came down and fought for it. So what happened is they have the union, but you don't have to pay dues because most of the dues actually go toward political donations. So if you don't want your dues going to political donations,
yeah, that was one of the things. I used to work for Singular Wireless / AT&T back in the day, and it was part of the telecommunications workers. That union. So they really pushed people joining the union when you got there. So of course you do. But then we started finding out that all of their our union dues were going towards the Democrat, toward the DNC. Well, that obviously gave a lot of us a case of the ass. So we're like, what the fuck? And so I mean, we had to write letters. Like we had to draft letters, get them signed, and then submit them to this to the union rep, to where we had to request that our union dues were not used to fund the Democrat Party based on ideological differences, right? And we never got any kind of like verification that was, hey, your wishes are being, honored, that kind of thing. So I withdrew my membership from it. I was like, look, they don't do anything anyway. So, you say something screwed up or even remotely screwed up and somebody takes it the wrong way, you get called into the HR office anyway. Union rep doesn't sit there and do anything. They just they take notes and then they go off, right? They don't speak on your behalf. They don't do nothing. So I'm like, people are as worthless as tits on a boar hog. So, I don't need you. I understand the need for unions to a point, but for me at least personally, and from what I've read, from what I've studied, unions really have outlived their usefulness, or they have gotten too big for their britches a lot of times. Like if you look at the United Auto Workers Union, back in like remember when we had the part shortage and cost of cars were going up and everything, and the UAW was threatening to strike. Well, the big three caved, and they gave into the demands of the UAW. The price of cars went up like 43%.
Jeez.
And 60% of the 60% of the cost of a car goes towards the union workers, and it's not necessarily their wages. It's filling those union coffers. That's exactly. I mean, a majority of the price of a brand new car goes towards that, and that's why a lot of that's why the big three absolutely hate, just like the video game industry, they hate secondhand sales. They do. They hate it. They hate the resale market, because you remember, Bill, you remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you that one phrase you used to hear in car and truck commercials all the time is that like Ford F-150 maintains its resale value better than its leading competitors. They don't talk about resale value in the commercials anymore. They all want you to buy brand new because the UAW makes the most money. They make money off the new cars. They don't make anything off the used sales.
Is that the reason why most cars after like 2 years they're like almost half the price they originally were?
Well, you got that normal depreciation anyway, but
I looked at it because when I was trying to find a newer vehicle, I noticed that, after the main sticker price for a new vehicle was like close to like 60,000. And then I looked at like a 2-year model with the same amount of mileage. It was like 40 or 40 or 30 in between there. So it was almost half of the value.
Yeah, they really try to depreciate the models. As soon as you drive off the lot, they depreciate. But as time goes on, it doesn't matter. I mean, unless you're under the national average for mileage, which I think they figured it was like 10,000 a year.
Yeah.
If you're under that national average and your car is in really good shape, both cosmetically and mechanically, then it tends to retain somewhere to the effect anywhere between 23 and 45% of its resale of its market value. And that's why, like when you go to a used car lot, they the dealers will price the cars based on what they see as far as market trends are concerned. When you come in there with a blue book or even the black book pricing, they try to get you off the lot as fast as possible because they're not going to make any money off of you. And that's part of the reason why GameStop, like you get certain games are worth more on the resale markets than other games. What is it? One Cure on the PlayStation 2, it's reselling right now for like $300. That game came out mid early 2000s. But they didn't make a lot of them. I mean, there's not a lot of games. There's not a lot of copies of that game in circulation. So it's almost a natural valuation versus an artificial price, artificial value spike by dealers or manufacturers withholding certain amounts of models from the system or from the market. It's all about manipulation. How much can we get here? How much can we get there? It enables the auto manufacturers to do things like Chevy did back in 2018, 2019. They're like, oh, the new Chevy Blazer, and the prototype looked like it had retro styling, and had retro lines on it, but with like that modern look, that modern front end. And then you saw what we actually got, because I mean, they had a ton of pre-orders based off of what the prototype was promising that the car was going to look like. And then when they came out with that subcompact SUV, that was smaller, about the same size as the Chevy Equinox. I mean, you want to talk about pissed off people. I mean, so it's I don't like the unions for that reason, and because it causes the people that bring that product out to do some really shady shit to try to turn a profit away from the union.
Yeah. Well, on that note, another news thing that hit my table is Trump trolling leftist media.
Oh, this is always fun.
Yeah. This is in the White House. It's his mugshot when he was arrested.
See, man.
He put the newspaper article, put the picture of it, put it in a nice gold frame, and it hangs in the wall. So it's in the background on most photos of his photo of him being his mugshot photo. I think this is the one from Florida, right?
No, that's the New York.
No, Georgia.
Georgia, was it? Yeah, that's right. It was Georgia. Yeah,
it's Georgia. Yeah, okay. Georgia was actually the only ones to process them. Just that was. Yeah, that was
good timing right there.
And everyone who walks into the Oval Office has to walk past it.
Yes, that's trolling 101, man.
I mean, I wonder how much of that was Barron telling him, "Hey, Dad, you totally need to do this,"
or Elon, or one
no,
of them.
I don't know. Notice he copied that when he did his official White House portrait. He tried to copy that look.
Yeah,
exactly.
That is. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can.
If aliens ever come back and they claim and they go to take Elon home, I'm going to personally stand in front of the ship and not allow them to do that.
Yeah, he did. Here's let me see if I can get this in full view. I can't get in a full view. I found it on an Instagram, but yeah, that's his presidential photo.
This is bizarre. You know, you had mentioned that, and I was going to pull up something on X, and you're talking, and I glance over there, and it's Alex Jones breaking MAGA trolling news with a freeze frame.
That's where I got it from. Yeah, you're right, because
why did that just pop up? I wasn't
the algorithm can hear you.
I pulled it up to look for something else.
Because we're being spied on by doing live stuff and talking through our computer.
Bill, on Valentine's Day, I feel compelled to tell you, your pull-up game is weak, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Who's
I don't get it.
Do they
what?
Does
somebody want to educate him, please?
No, I'm not even gonna try. I already know.
You know, like your pull-out game. Your pull-out game is weak. Your pull-up game is weak. Never mind.
Yeah. Anyway,
keep in mind this next Thursday is the North Texas Auto Expo in Dallas. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
When is it?
Thursday,
Sunday. That's when
I will be there Thursday.
I might need to get a ride from you. I'll go with you.
Well,
I'm interested in seeing that.
I got a hotel room for Wednesday night. I'm not a morning person, so us trying to wait, neither one of us are, so us trying to wake up, drive down there, relax and enjoy it. And so he said, heck with it. And I got a hotel. Otherwise, I would go, yeah.
Never mind then.
Unless you want to go down there. There's just one bed.
Because the whole reason why I took last week, I'm taking next weekend off, is to get my car fixed. So, what was I looking up? And you made me forget what I was looking up. Anyways,
Damn you,
that's what it was. Yes, damn you, Bill. Does anybody know who the director of the ATF is going to be? Still, who I think
Hopefully
it
the
is.
last person we ever have to talk about with that agency.
I wonder who it is. Who I hope it is.
Everybody say wave to the wife because she just walked into Jake's room.
Okay.
Oh, see, and he's not even going to tell her like, "Hey, Johnny's talking about you." Like,
howdy.
He was talking to me. She was talking to me.
And I was talking to you. I was telling everybody wave hi to the wife.
Yeah, but I was busy listening to her.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. First time for everything, I guess. All right. Anyways.
Oh, when were you in the Union? Where you wrote that note? What year was that?
2004.
Okay, what you could have done is, and here's how I was attacking it. In 1979, there was this lawsuit called Beck versus Communication Workers of America, and that's where the agency fee dues thing came from. That you could even use in a closed shop state. You could tell them,
everybody can now. Everybody can now wave at her. Hi.
Hi.
I told everybody to wave as you were walking through his shot, and of course, you know he doesn't take the opportunity of a live situation to go, "Mom, look, they're talking about you."
Yeah, me being me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Jake, if I didn't want you here, I wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah, they still don't have an ATF director, but there's still rumors of who it might be. Y'all don't keep up with that news. I've been spitting this out for like the longest time. Who I want to be in there, and he
Ted Nugent. That's who I want.
Brandon Herrera.
Give me the Motor City Madman. Come on. I mean, that dude is so pro 2A. It is not even funny.
Yeah. I still found it funny how he really wasn't a draft dodger as everybody says, only because of the news article.
Yeah. I got to meet him.
Really?
Years ago. Back in 97, 98. Yeah, no, 98. 97, 98. Doing my expert infantry badge testing. He came to the threat weapons station, right, where we had a bunch of like foreign weapons, you know, like Iraqi weapons and the AK-47s, Alquids, stuff like that. And we're not paying attention at all. They don't announce who it is. This old burnout looking dude just comes walking into the station. We're all standing there just like trying to identify the weapons, and he just walks up and he's like, this. He's just naming them off, right? Just rattling them off. And we're like, who the fuck is this guy? Right? Because he's got a BDU top that's like the sleeves are cut off, there's patches sewn all over it. And we're like, who the fuck? And so they finally were like, oh, that's Ted Nugent. We're like, no shit. Really? Okay. You know, so I mean he hung out with us for a little bit, and they were all talking to like whoever can name three of his songs without without catching up to go to his concert tonight. So we had one guy that was like a hardcore Nugent fan, so he named off like 3 random hits and B-sides, and so he got to go, and we were like, oh, that's pretty cool. We got to hang out with Ted Nugent. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I went to one of his concerts.
Nice.
Hey, what's really sad is I won tickets to that concert, and there we go. That sounds better. I went to his concert, when I won the tickets, I was like, oh, I'm going to go see Ted Nugent. I went to go see Ted Nugent. I was like, why is everybody's face painted up in Kiss? It was a Ted Nugent Kiss concert.
Yeah.
But last but not least, and we're going to do this real quick. I found this one on X. This is a funny thing from what we actually reported on a couple of weeks ago. It's about that lady that has a accidental discharge, and we talked about it. But
yeah,
here's something funny. I'll be your lady cop, so you can. And I can't even say it.
So you can negligently discharge. So I can negligently discharge into you. That's awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded the political portion of the evening. Now, for those of you who keep score at home, it was a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, on the Nerd Sports program that we have.
3-4 weeks ago. So if you're actually,
see, for those of you who have been watching live, you've noticed that the people at the bottom of the screen are esteemed cohort Colin and our panel member Jake have been snickering in the back, exchanging glances because they've been texting memes to each other. But now is their time to shine because they took it upon themselves to debut this list of the 100 or the top 10 video games of all time. Now, our host, our esteemed producer David, has taken issue with some of these games.
Yes.
But let me get there, David. Hold on. It is now their responsibility. It is their burden of proof to make the arguments for their choices and against the choices of others. Will they turn out to be fascists? We don't know. Will they turn out to be cucks and just change their list altogether? We certainly hope not. But what we do hope for is entertainment. And if you're going to hang around for that, we hope that you do. Feel free to jump into the comments and give us what you think needed to be on that list or argue against why something that was on the list needs to disappear. And without further ado, I hand the floor over to Colin and Jake. That's your clue, or your cue, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna share this one thing beforehand. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm a piece. I'm peace.
Yep, there we go.
All right. Now,
read the list.
Okay. You want me to just go ahead and just jump in and read the list?
Sort it out. Go
read the list.
Okay.
Start at number 10.
I'll chop
Start
it
at
down.
number 10.
I will preface this with beforehand. Hold on. No, let me say something. Beforehand, me and Colin were on the phone, and we were kind of talking, and we think there maybe one of these should have been left out and replaced with something else. And I will put that in a minute. So number 10.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance that one of them might be replaced with something else or get kicked down further. Number 10 was Resident Evil 4. That was our number 10.
The original, not the
original
remake.
Resident Evil. Yeah, not the remake. The original Resident Evil 4. We determined that it would feel weird because Resident Evil, we have both played nearly the whole series. So it would feel weird to not have a Resident Evil game in our top 10 because
also Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 arguably is probably the best one.
It has some of the best combat. It has some of the best
The only one,
the cutscenes are hilarious. The
only two that I could probably argue would beat it is either 7 or 2.
Yeah, those are the ones I was thinking also.
Okay, going on the Resident Evil franchise and everything. Yes, you're absolutely right. 4 was actually superior than most. Yes, I'm going to get some hate for that one. But the thing is you got to look back on what started out the franchise into something to where What the fuck are you doing, Johnny? Is that you?
I'm trying to get people to start talking in the comments.
Yeah, but you have to start with what started the franchise. I mean, you wouldn't have two. You wouldn't have three.
Okay, but no,
But
you
no.
can't. You cannot tell me that you would have RE1 in the top 10 and not have RE4 in the top 10.
That's like saying, that's literally like if you're like, okay, I would rather have Super Mario Brothers 1 in the top 10 instead of Super Mario Brothers like 3 or World, even though those games are
they are better
unanimously
than
agreed on to be way better. They wouldn't exist without the first one. That is true.
Or you could even say, okay, for the Super Mario franchise, okay, as a franchise of that, honestly, the go-to for that franchise isn't a Super Mario Brothers game. It's the freaking Super Mario Mario Kart.
No, look, don't get me wrong.
You play Mario Kart to play Mario Kart. You don't play
Don't
it
get
to
me
play
wrong.
Mario.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Number one, it's a very
part of the
rare,
franchise.
It's a very rare day.
spin-off.
Yeah, it's a very rare day.
Okay. I'll
that you see.
grant it is a spinoff.
It's a very rare day. Okay, but tell me this. Out of all the characters on the roster, you tell me you picking Mario?
No.
Yeah,
Why the with the insane fucking
or,
roster that they give you? Why the hell would you ever pick Mario?
Yeah, because Mario wasn't the best one. It was either Yoshi or Toad.
You always pick the characters that you don't normally get to play as in Mario. That's what's cool about Mario Kart.
Okay, yeah, okay, I could see that.
Also, I would like to clarify for all you stupid people out there. This is without argument. DS is the best.
Yeah, Mario Kart DS is the best one.
Mm.
It's the only one that has like substantial single player content along with multiplayer stuff. All the other ones are primarily multiplayer focused.
Also, the insane tracks on DS are just.
Also, DS was the first one to bring back older tracks other than Super Circuit brought back the entirety of the SNES one, but DS was the first one to bring back tracks outside of that. So, but anyways, Mario Kart is not in our top 10 at all. So
there is a few Nintendo games.
There is one Nintendo game.
2.
Oh yeah, 2. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. There's 2. Okay, anyways, so our number 10 was Resident Evil 4. Next up is number 9, which is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. We believe that Okay, yeah, you say.
Now listen. Don't get me wrong. The other Modern Warfare games are supreme. They're supreme. They're wonderful. The campaign, the multiplayer, everything, great. But the first Modern Warfare, not only did it have great campaign, but great multiplayer. It was one of the games that kick-started Call of Duty.
See, the thing,
and this is going to be the one thing that I contribute to this conversation here.
Okay.
For me, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 should have been on there because if we're talking about innovations, great campaign, great multiplayer, it kickstarted the whole thing. The reason why I think Modern Warfare 2 should have been on this list is because of the 360 servers alone. The lobbies, come on.
But we're not just talking online. We're talking the whole.
No, and I get it because we're talking about multiplayer too, right? So that should have been part of that conversation because without the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, I mean.
But that's what I'm saying is like Call of Duty at first started because.
But it wasn't just
Medal of Honor was so huge, right? Medal of Honor was huge, and Call of Duty was trying to get in on that, and they're like, okay, we need to do something else that will differentiate us from Medal of Honor.
Also,
and that's where they were like, okay, we're gonna do this massive, like actually like a movie campaign, like, but you get to like play a movie.
Yeah,
like
and it's not just the Modern Warfare 2 servers that were like that. It was also the Black Ops 1. The
Yeah,
Black Ops 2
I was gonna
servers.
say if you're going for primarily only multiplayer, I would say Black Ops 1 or 2.
Black Ops 2 came out after Modern Warfare 2.
It was
I know,
still
that's
it
what
was
I'm
the
saying.
360 game.
But it was still
I know,
360.
but I'm talking about chronologically though. Modern Warfare 2 came out first. So without Modern Warfare 2, we wouldn't have had Black Ops.
Without either of them, we wouldn't have the online, because Call of Duty 4 was the first big online one.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, they didn't take off until Modern Warfare 2.
Either way,
because that's when they started.
Either way.
No, that's when they started introducing the banhammer. Was in Modern Warfare 2.
My big defense for Call of Duty 4, because we debated, we had a good number of Call of Duty games on the list. My defense for COD 4 was that this was the first Call of Duty game I ever played, and this was one of the only Call of Duty games that when I was like wanting to play something, I was like, oh fuck yeah, Call of Duty 4 rocks. Like I play that game. I have so many good memories of playing split screen, and I know this is just personal, but I cannot. It would feel weird for me to put Black Ops up here and not Call of Duty 4, because Call of Duty 4 is what began this whole.
As much as I liked Black Ops games, there's just so many problems with them.
Black Ops was where I kind of fell out of love with Call of Duty.
How?
Because the online, the storyline is great.
okay.
The storyline is great.
Yeah.
The online, you can't play because everybody is so fucking cracked at that game that you can't do anything.
That is
Well,
true.
and because especially like
That's
do you remember? David, think back way when. Remember the 360 no scope nerds in the Black Ops 2 lobbies? Remember when you would spawn in a tomahawk, come out of nowhere and kill you?
Oh yeah. That's the reason why I okay. Granted, my deal with the list isn't the fact of you're complimenting this game to this game or that game to that game. I honestly think that you should go with the franchise, not with like one specific game. If you're going with like one specific game,
the only problem with that is that some franchises have like a couple good games and the rest are shit, which would bring the whole thing down.
And then there's some franchises.
You're true on that.
There's some franchises where it's like one or two games that carry the entire thing, which wouldn't be fair. For instance, Resident Evil is a pretty good example because some, for instance, five and six are just.
Five. I will defend the co-op. The co-op is really fun.
Don't get me wrong. Five. The story is it's pretty fun. 6 is just hot.
6
garbage.
is what killed it, and then Umbrella Corps came out and they tried to turn it into like a live service thing, and they were like, "What are we doing?
And then
this
7
isn't Resident
came
Evil
out.
anymore."
And
then 7 came back and revived everything.
And 7 might be one of, if not my favorite Resident Evil game. It's really hard to try.
7 is what I would go for if I'm looking to get scared.
Yeah.
Because 7 is definitely the most horror oriented out of all of them.
Oh yeah, dude, it's like your first playthrough, and it's really early on. Is when Mia, when you're going, like, you have to go through the door, and it's the stairs down to the basement, and there's so many times in that game where you just can't see 2 feet in front of you.
The only thing that the reason that I'm more of a RE2, RE4 person is because I personally I like the third person camera angles for these games. I like with RE2 I like the fixed camera stuff. RE4 I like the over the shoulder. Ethan is a great character, but
I do agree with you, and I feel like because Jake can testify to this. I've been kind of anytime it's a weekend that we come down there, I asked to play the Silent Hill remake. No joke, Silent Hill remake has become one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not even joking. Like this, the game is so good.
That's what I'm saying. I was telling Colin when we were at church last weekend. I was like, we need to, like, 10 years down the road, we should do this again with, like, all the games that have come out since then and see if it changes at all. Maybe
Yeah,
make this
but
like an
me and
like
him
an
are
annual thing or something.
yeah me and
But
him are probably gonna be the only ones that change anything.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
I was gonna say that Fear was first person shooter game that
Oh, I
did
love Fear.
Fear
Fe
was awesome. I
Fear,
didn't like
Fear was great. Fear was that game that I would play with the headphones on, and I would play it at night on purpose, right? It's like there was a couple of levels where I'm like, nope, I'm done for the night, and I'd walk away because I'm like, no, because
well,
one,
Fear.
the game made you want to rage quit, and two, it just there was some certain moments where you were just like, no, 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 and then just something would come out of the blue, like something would
it
flash
reminds
on
me
you.
it makes me think of it's kind of like Doom, but more horror oriented instead of like
Yeah,
entirely only gunplay.
Fear.
Right.
But
Also,
like,
Fear came out before RE7,
yeah,
and RE7 it has some heavy fluence in the horror area, but I wouldn't say that's the thing that drives it.
no, it's the gunplay. The gunplay in RE7 is
It's
so good.
dude, and thanks to Jake, I've been open to the wide experience of the best way to play a Resident Evil game is your
VR.
first playthrough. No,
Oh,
your first
RE7 VR.
no
Okay.
no. The best way to play a Resident Evil game
Oh
is
yeah.
your first playthrough. Go on hard mode. It is one of the funnest experience you'll ever have.
It makes it like it turns it into more of a horror game than it normally is, because you're not only scared about the monsters, but you're scared like, oh shit, I have like nothing. I have no resources left. What the hell am I gonna do?
There's
And then,
times where it's just like you have like no ammo, and you're like, there's a boss fight coming up.
and like, and then the one thing that the more recent RE games got rid of that I'm really sad about, because the only ones that had it left were RE7 and RE2 remake was the limited saves. Those
Yeah,
are the only ones left that have them. Everything else has just had infinite saves. I like the limited saves because it makes you think about, okay, should I save right now or should I wait a while?
because there's times where it's like you make very little progress, and then you go to save, and it's like you can't do that with the limited saves. You have to be like, okay, I need to make some like leeway between this save and this one, or else this is just going to be completely wasteful.
And then the best part about Resident Evil, in my opinion, is speed running. It is
Oh
so
yeah,
fun. It is so fun to see. Like you do it and like, okay, this time can I chip off like 2 minutes off one time? Like,
I
it's
love
so
speed
fun.
I love speedrunning Resident Evil games, but screw Resident Evil 8 because don't get me wrong, everything else, like dude, the only problem I have with speedrunning that game is the Lycan part.
Yeah, the part where there's all the lichens invading.
Yeah, and it's like I'm like I don't know what because like if you run, because it gets to the point where they destroy everything,
Yeah.
and you just have no areas to run through. It's just, and it's like I don't know what to do.
Okay, we need to move on because we went back to Resident Evil after talking about Call of Duty. Um,
Okay.
okay, number 8 on the list, and this is the one that we talked earlier about maybe removing and replacing with something else. Fallout New Vegas.
Now I know, no, I know what you're thinking. I
It's
know
not.
don't get me
It's
wrong. Don't get
not.
me wrong.
Yeah.
The game, it it is without say, it is the best Fallout game, obviously. But I feel like it could.
Hold on. Did Fallout New Vegas have like stuff to where you could build your own like camp?
No.
No,
That's
that was
no,
subject.
no. But hear me out. It had gambling, so
Yeah. But the
I'd rather okay. It was a mixture of the
that's one of the reasons why I like Fallout 4 so much.
it was
It
the tragedy it was a mixture of the tragedy of what was 76 and New Vegas. I mean, you could stand it. Okay, my thing on a game isn't, does it have a great storyline? Can we speed run it? No, my thing is the cost good enough? Because you can play Fallout 4, and you have like other things. It's the same thing with Kingdom Hearts.
I defended Fallout 4 for a very long time.
And I'm just me personally. I didn't like Fallout 4 as much. I don't really like the art style that much. I don't like the storyline that much. But I will agree.
Kind of weird.
I will agree that it was a landmark title because it brought so many new people into Fallout.
I will say there. Okay, so there is a lot of stuff to do, and this is kind of because I'm playing through Sonic Frontiers right now. There's so much to do that there isn't enough. It's like
it's okay. Here's another example. How many times have you replayed something like Red Dead Redemption 2? I mean, one's good, two's better.
So we had this debate.
You're still finding stuff, new stuff.
I know we had this debate about Red Dead 2, because it was either that or RE4. It was between those two. They were both.
I couldn't.
We were right
I
about
couldn't,
the top 10.
Me and him just can't live without an RE game.
So
in the top
10. My defense for Fallout New Vegas is that as amazing as Red Dead 2 is, as amazing as some other games are, Fallout New Vegas is really a game about freedom. Like, you can tackle any situation literally any way you want.
I have a build, dude. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the build because it is. I have such a good time.
Yeah, like you can go caveman mode and just like whack everybody with a rock. You can freaking go in all stealth mode with a gun. You can go in charismatic and talk to everybody and try and talk people down. You can go in guns blazing with all your partners and come in. Like, you can truly. It's one of the most free, like, freedom experiences that you get. It's really cool. My only thing is that a lot of the stuff in New Vegas is it's very much an asset flip of Fallout 3, because Fallout 3 kind of didn't do as well as they wanted, so they brought in Obsidian to make Fallout New Vegas.
One of my problems with Fallout 3, number one, the story is kind of not that great. Like, especially the ending. The ending is so crap.
That was just saying that my one thing is that, like, I know a lot of games in the industry now are asset flips. Not necessarily full-on asset flips, but games nowadays are not made entirely new. It's usually they'll take stuff from older one and then put it into this new one. It'll take some. Fallout New Vegas is so it's like a lot more than just an asset flip. So much of it is just straight up from Fallout 3.
Okay, so
the main reason why that is, though, is the basic fact of it was a continuation of
okay,
but that was their excuse for it. Fallout 3 did not do.
But
as
also,
well as they thought
I
it
want
was
you.
going to.
Okay, I want you to
That's why
think
they
about
made
this.
New Vegas.
Think of how. Don't get me wrong. 4 definitely, it's a big game. Think of how iconic New Vegas is. Think of like all the references people make to it. Think about when people talk, people always compare stuff to New Vegas. Like especially with a lot of the Fallout games,
right.
They compare it to New Vegas.
And even with Obsidian's newer games, Outer Worlds, people always are like, okay, this game is great, but it's not New Vegas. It's literally.
I didn't like Outer Worlds only because it just seemed. I went through that like within like 5 or 6 hours. Like I said, I knowably will say a game is a really good game only if the playability is good enough for.
That's one. So
like
back to
like a long time. It would take a long time. Like right now, I have Civilization 6. I could play that forever, only because it loops around to where.
Don't get me wrong. So back to Silent Hill real quick. I'm
Hey, hold on. Time out
I'm-
for just a second, guys. Mel Gibson, the Hollywood ambassador for the Trump administration, just released the Epstein Diddy lists on Twitter.
No way.
What?
You mean on X, right?
Yeah, on X. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. I was getting confused. Okay, we have to go over.
I'm sorry for interrupting this, guys. Oh wow! I mean, dude, there are so many names on this list here. The tweet starts out. And I don't know if it's his official Twitter handle or X handle or whatever.
It was
Mel Gibson News or whatever.
Okay, no. I got you.
Here's a list of some of the Satanists endorsing, supporting Kamala Harris because they were on the Epstein Diddy client list. There's a lot coming out. Beyonce, Samuel Jackson. Whoa. Oprah, Barack and Mike Obama. Bill and Hillary Clinton, Sarah Jessica Parker, Eminem, Taylor Swift, Stevie Nicks, Willie Nelson. Wow.
I knew she was going to be on there.
Brittany Spencer, Margot Price, Cher, Mark Anthony, Lizzo, Usher, Olivia Rodrigo, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Cardi B, Kesha, Billie Eilish, her brother Phineas, Chappelle Rowan, Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, Whoopi Goldberg.
Can you direct message me that list?
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, Mark Hamill and something. Okay, so William Shatner. I follow him on X for the content. Plus, Captain Kirk, right?
Yeah.
He sent Star Wars fans into a freaking frenzy today, or the other day, because Mark Hamill had come out and said that Luke Skywalker was gay, right? And according to Star Wars canon, Luke Skywalker got married and had kids, right?
Yeah, Mara Jade.
The guy?
Yeah. Well, apparently, because Mark Hamill said that Luke Skywalker is gay, that retcons the entire thing. And so you got all these fans out there that are like, Disney ruins everything. And then William Shatner comes out and he goes, well, to be fair, Mark Hamill ruined it before Disney had anything to do with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude. Okay, except I want to say this. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Disney, while Disney was in charge, they released probably one of the coolest Star Wars. Dude, when so you know that little mini series where they let different studio companies.
Oh, you talking about
yeah.
Dude, when they let Studio Trigger animate a Star Wars fight, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen from Star Wars.
And David, you can attest to this because this is a phrase that I use quite often with you. A blind squirrel finds the nut every once in a while. Okay, dog's ass, sunshine, at least once. Just kind of saying.
Mel Brooks.
Star Wars Visions. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
It is, dude. That episode where they handed it off to Studio Trigger probably is one of my favorite Star Wars things.
I will also say I did not entirely hate the new trilogy. I thought Force Awakens was... I know it rehashed so much from Episode 4, but I like Force Awakens. And some of Last Jedi I like. Some of it I really fucking hate. But there is some good stuff in there. Also, Rogue One. Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Rogue One was so fucking good.
Rogue One was good. Hand it down to you. The problem with the new trilogy is the fact that The Mandalorian was 100 times better.
It was until I don't like season 3.
I feel like
I did not like season 3 of Mandalorian.
To me,
I love the whole entire thing. Even
to me, to me,
The whole
season one,
Boba
I
Fett
feel
was
like
kinda
I
small.
did not like that either.
I
I
feel
like
like
parts of it because
to me,
it was just like, you know,
It pissed me
a
off so much because
mid-ground.
they were teasing Cad Bane for so long, and then he showed up and died within a minute. I got
to
Yeah,
so
me,
mad.
like I want to say this. To me, season one of Mandalorian is the best of that entire
Season
show.
1 of Mandalorian is one of the best Star
Yeah.
Wars things in general.
For the long time, yes. You're
Yeah.
absolutely
I also feel like
that was best.
John Favreau and Pedro Pascal did such a fucking amazing job with season one.
one of the things I really didn't like about them bringing Boba Fett into there was because then they made a spin-off of Boba Fett. And don't get me wrong, Boba Fett's he's a cool character. I thought the Boba Fett show the Boba Fett show was just kind of meh. Like it was
the only
with the hold on. With the Boba Fett show, what is really sad about the whole thing is even the lead actor is like, hey, they paid me the money, but I still want to see a better Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Because it really
the
was.
entire show was just showing Boba Fett side of the story, and then it tied right back into Mandalorian.
Yeah, with Timothy Oliphant showing up, and then Cad Bane shows. Like it's literally it felt. I thought it was really boring. That was my main thing because it was like literally just him.
I feel like a lot
controlling
of
Jabba's palace. That was like the whole thing. He becomes
I
like a mob
thought-
boss.
yeah,
Like
I thought that I feel like a lot of the newer Star Wars stuff is quite boring.
I actually like Andor. That show was actually pretty good.
Okay. Now let's get back to this list.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, so after Fallout New Vegas is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
This is okay. Don't get me wrong. The older Smash games have their own unique things. They got some stuff that they excel at. Ultimate is just okay. I'm not gonna call it perfect. It is almost perfect.
No, I don't think any.
No, I don't think any of those.
Even our number one that we put on here, there's flaws that I have with it.
I think
Here's the thing. As a fighter game,
wait. I'm gonna have to fix you on that. It's a platform fighter.
Yeah. So Colin was really sad when we got towards the end because he was like, wait, where's all the fighting games? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I wrote down literally so many fighting games, and you kept knocking all of them off. Like I couldn't do anything.
I was like,
okay.
Wait, no.
Here's the thing. Because you two grew up in a state where you had a console or a laptop or a platform. Me and Johnny,
we had arcades.
Yes.
I've been to arcades.
No. Yeah, no, you had a father that took you to
I've been to actual arcades.
Okay, stop. One sec. Me and Johnny, to play a video game, I don't know how many times have you done this, Johnny, but I went underneath those video games, scrounging for quarters so I can play again.
I
we
wish
are not
I
the
could have
same.
had that experience. I know. I'm
Johnny,
saying.
how many times did you do that?
Okay,
dude. You know how many times I have unplugged unplugged an arcade machine just to reset the top 10 list.
Okay, but I feel like that's not entirely fair.
Button, right?
Because
it's not fair because we weren't able to. They fell out of the only place that they were popular in. Still,
okay. Here in town, you can go to. I mean, you can pay $5. You're not gonna have to scrounge around.
Maniac Mansion? Are you talking about Maniac Mansion? Are you talking about Maniac Mansion?
You could go there, or you could go, fuck, what's it called? Deep End, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, that game's like.
Yeah. Well,
that
okay.
game's
So
kinda,
to that end, David. To that end.
Kind of falling off.
And this isn't going to be about like, hey, old school gamers are better than blah blah blah. Whatever.
It's not about better.
Hold on. Time out. Ceasefire. What we're talking about is the experience, right? Yes. Well, they did not get to experience that. Okay, where you had dudes putting their quarters up on the machine like they were lining up to play pool, right?
Yeah.
Or when, like, okay, for example, when I was in jump school, All right. Tekken 3 had just come out, right? The arcade. So it was over at the NCO club or the lower enlisted club, right? So we'd walk
I
down
fucking put Tekken 3 on the list and Colin knocked it out. I fucking put Tekken 3 up there.
Okay.
Look,
Let Johnny finish.
Okay.
Let Johnny
So
finish.
we would walk over to the lower enlisted club during the week, during ground week. And dude, the amount of money that we dropped into that machine is unreal. Like adjusted for inflation, we probably could have bought that machine 5 or 6 times over.
You probably could, yeah.
You know, and I am absolutely self-admittedly hot dog water at fighting games now. But when Tekken 3 came out, bro, I would fuck with it hard.
I haven't played Tekken in a while, but the freaking Final Fantasy character came to
Tekken
8.
They added Clive.
Yeah, he's pretty fun.
But here's another thing.
Tekken is the one fighting game that I could beat Jake at consistently in a row.
For fighting games, there's only 2. 2. That's it.
Mortal Kombat. See, that's irrelevant because there can only be one.
No, okay, listen to me.
Mortal Kombat peaked at X and then it never got good again.
This is what you should be fighting for, okay? Mortal Kombat, the original.
No, David, hold on, David.
Kombat 1 sucks ass. I'm sorry.
I have to say, hold on, David. Look, I will die on this hill. X is the best Mortal Kombat game to ever exist,
and there will never be one as good as that one.
For your graphics or anything.
No. Dude,
X
is shit about graphics. It's about the gameplay.
You weren't there. You weren't there when that game first debuted. No. You weren't there when that game first debuted, and we had something that looked almost realistic, and we were beating the shit out of each other. And
like there were fights breaking out in the line. No, hold on. There were fights in the arcade breaking out just to get in line to play this game. Now, when they debuted it on the console, i.e., the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, right? Sega Genesis had a blood code that you they had a blood code on the Genesis. We had to enter that just to see the blood because your video games are dementing the minds of our children.
Okay, but I want you to
Now these are coming from the same old people.
These are coming
from the same old people that outlawed 2 Live Crew.
My defense is that I could give 2 shits about how the game looks because one of my favorite fighting games of all time is Tekken 3. And that game, I'm sorry, it still looks good as a PS1 game, but nowadays it looks like ass.
Okay,
but
dude.
Here's another game that a lot of people...
Mortal Kombat X has mediocre graphics at best.
Yeah, and also
here's another game that a lot of people go just push underneath the rug, but it was actually really cool when it first came out. Killer Instinct.
Nobody pushes it. Dude,
I saw you a Jeep. Yes,
awesome.
I love that game.
Okay, so I introduced Colin to Killer Instinct recently. We played the most.
Okay,
it's okay. It's fine. If you don't like
it was the only problem was.
Okay, you got 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes, and we're gonna go on to the next one.
I think the timing that you just kept beating my ass, so it was like
okay.
The black cartridge on the N64 was where it was at.
KI Gold is not.
Hey Siri, put a 2-minute time
KI
limit.
game.
Okay, but the thing is that Mortal Kombat X is the best Mortal Kombat. Like, it is not up for question. Tekken, as fun as it is,
no,
especially nowadays, Tekken has a harder time keeping like very, very relevant. As opposed to other games.
I don't think so. I think Mortal Kombat has a harder time than Tekken does.
Well, yeah, nowadays.
The relentless iterations of Street Fighter that were being released into the arcades.
Of Street Fighter 2.
Okay, no.
There are
Street Fighter. You got Street Fighter. You got Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
You got Street Fighter versus Capcom. Street Fighter versus
David,
why
David.
would Street Fighter fight themselves? It's not Street Fighter versus Capcom.
It's Marvel versus Capcom.
No, hold on. No. Everybody. It started.
Ceasefire. Hold on a second. My show. Time out. Let's stop yelling at each other. Okay. We can get excited, but don't start yelling.
It started with X-Men Children of the Atom. Then it went to Marvel Superheroes. Then it went to X-Men versus Street Fighter. Then it was Marvel versus Capcom. That's the order.
I know, but he's talking about Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
It was Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. They just kept on. Okay, here's the thing. The reason why I don't really put Street Fighter in that is because they kept on having to pump out new games almost every year, like Call of Duty. I don't like Call of Duty that much because every year they have to pump out a new game just to have relevancy. Now, saying that, Mortal Kombat didn't starting out.
Oh, yeah, they did.
No.
Mortal Kombat 1 and then 2 came out like a year after, and then 3 came out like a year after that, and then Trilogy, and then UMK3 on SNES, and then it was Mortal Kombat 4, it was Mortal Kombat Gold, and there was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, then it was Deception, then it was they kept doing it pretty much yearly until Armageddon killed the franchise for a bit, and then they tried to bring it back with MK versus DC, and that killed it even further.
Hold on.
MK9.
Let me find this out.
Why is it that everything
like
turns to shit?
It was because they made it not rated M. It's a Mortal Kombat game that's not rated M. There's no
because
fatalities are
we
shit.
We don't want Batman getting brutally murdered.
Okay, yeah, you're okay.
That's why the fourth Die Hard movie didn't do well.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying on that. Now, what's next on the list? We already had.
Moving on.
So, anyways, it was Smash Ultimate was number 7. Okay, next is Halo Reach.
Okay, now wait. Okay, I understand. You guys are gonna be like, but Halo Combat Evolved. Don't get me wrong. It is an important game. It is great. It is magnificent.
Yeah, I think we put Halo 1 and 2 on there.
But
along with Reach.
But Halo Reach, to me, is the best and perfect Halo game. Because the campaign is so famous and it is so good.
And the multiplayer is so fucking
fun. The multiplayer.
Yeah, and I'm making an argument for here, so just okay. Halo Reach was really the first game on the Xbox that I legitimately grinded on until I unlocked all of the achievements. If you go onto my gamer tag on Xbox and you look up Halo Reach, I've got all of them. I mean, I played solo on Legendary. I mean, I unlocked the achievement of a monument to our sins, right? And that when I unlocked all the achievements for that game, I got the 1000 gamer score on it, dude. That was something for me back then. And outside of Halo 3, Reach is my favorite. I was just questioning why Reach had a higher presence than Combat Evolved. And I understand the reasoning why you put it that way. I was just looking at it from the standpoint of innovativeness and just the way that, I mean, you look at the way that athletes are elected or inducted into their halls, respective halls of fame. Okay. Is they had to be innovators in the sport and they had to be ambassadors for that sport after the game, on and off the field type situation, where you look at like with the multiplayer. Okay. You had Xbox Live in its infancy for Halos 1 and 2. It really took off for Halo 2, but then when the 360 came out and they introduced Halo 3, the Halo 3 servers were just absolute bonkers, right? Halo Reach servers with the armor upgrades and things like that, even though it was technically a prequel to the entire trilogy. It was there. And then, Bungie left, they did their thing, and 343 Studios eventually became was it Halo Studios. Really did their best to kill the series with 4 was Bungie's last foray, right?
Okay, I want to say this.
Yes or no?
I thought
Yes or
no. I think they left because they were working on Destiny. And
no,
then,
okay. So 343 was that's right. 343 was Halo 4. Halo 5, absolute hot garbage. It was a short game. I mean, it was shorter than ODST, and I liked ODST. But with Infinite, they were talking about, well, Infinite's going to be the last installment because it's in the title. It's Infinite. We're just going to keep releasing DLC for it, and then that never happened because people played the campaign and they're like, there's got to be more to this. So I don't know, with the retooling and the renaming of 343 Studios to become Halo Studios, and then them switching to the Unreal Engine, I'm really hoping that we get a new base.
They're also giving they're putting Halo on PlayStation
and Nintendo.
They're remasters and they're ports. That's all that they are. I'm talking about a new release, a new story, new story arc, or continuation of something concerning Master Chief.
The only way I only see that happening if because I feel like Microsoft is afraid to do something with Halo because they don't want to put out another thing that's going to be middling again.
Well, that's why they need to take a step outside their comfort zone and not release something that's broken on day one that requires 100 gig upgrade.
That's why I'm saying the best scenario is if Bungie came back.
Okay. That one. Hold on.
One of the lead developers from Bungie left Bungie and went back to Microsoft.
I
want to say this. Okay, so here's why Bungie would not be a good idea. Bungie, Destiny 2 at this point is so shit.
Yeah,
it's incredible how bad it is.
There's
no joke. Recently, they just killed another fan favorite character again.
Well, my thing is that they keep releasing fucking $60 expansions.
No, it's not even that. Because if you want, if you want actual crap, and I don't even know if this is base version anymore, but I'm pretty sure base version now for each DLC is over $100.
It's a fucking pay to win game. That's what. Because
it was even more incredible because they shut down one of the DLCs.
Okay, you got to be on that, and we're gonna go to the next one.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I like how every time we've tried to defend a game, we've ended up not talking about the game, talking about something else.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried to keep it. I tried to keep it on point with Halo Reach.
Okay, here's one thing about the what you don't understand is back in the day, me and Johnny, when we would go to the Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or something like that, and we'd pick up a game. There's one game. I mean, everybody's talking about, Dark Souls 2. There was one game.
I want to correct you. I want to correct you on that. Nobody's talking about Dark Souls 2.
People are talking about Dark Souls 2.
Hard.
No, nobody is being like Dark Souls 1 and 2.
Hold your horses. There's a game out there called Echo. And the sole reason that game was made and put up is so people would go to the renting store and keep on renting it so they could beat that game. It was meant to be that hard.
Wait, on that note, I want to say something. So, Demon Souls. First Souls game. The whole reason why it came out was because video games around that time were too easy. And then when Demon Souls came out, it was revolutionary. They were like, "What the heck? I What the?
The best thing about the Souls games though is that it's not that they're hard, it's that it's like a power fantasy because you feel so fucking incredible when you finally beat that fucking boss and then you get your ass handed to you. So like the next boss after that. So then you have to grind and grind and grind. It's like well not necessarily grind. That's the fun part about Souls games though, is that they're not impossible.
You have to adapt.
Yeah, you have to learn the moves of all the bosses, and you have
because
to
and I'm no joke. So it was like last year, it was before Game Awards. I finally beat Consort Radon. Hate that guy. Great boss, hate him. I felt so relieved. Like I didn't even get up or anything. I just kind of sat there. I was like, finally.
Stuff like that is I feel like I'm gonna remember forever.
Okay,
because
bosses.
Next game.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna keep on going on and everything. We need to speed this up a little bit.
This was my game that I championed this far. I was like, this game has to be.
I kept attacking it.
Super Metroid is, in my opinion, it is the greatest game ever made. But I know.
This one, I will defend you on this one because it was.
But I know Colin does not agree with me, and our brother Sammy, who also did this with us.
Okay, I will give you this. I will give you this. I haven't played the game.
Play the game, and you'll sing a new tune.
There are so many games. So there are so many games that come out now that wouldn't exist without Super Metroid, and this is the only time in which I'm like, this argument is valid because Super Metroid is such a revolutionary video game. When it came out, there was no games like it. The first two Metroid games, as amazing as they are nothing like Super Metroid. It is a revolutionary, groundbreaking. The stuff that it did with the system, it pushes the Super Nintendo to its limits. Like, it is such an impressive game to me. The fact that they made that thing within like a year and a half, they made this game. And nowadays, it's not as impressive as some other games that come out now. But the fact that it existed in a time where it did, where games still were mostly based on scores and like, putting chords in the arcade machines and everything. When that game came out, it was like, holy shit! If I don't have Super Metroid, I'm a fucking loser. That's what
it was. In my opinion, it was probably one of the first ones to do world building.
Yeah,
I mean, world building games take so much.
Okay, so again, I haven't played the game, but
play. Okay. If you have not played that game, that's one of the ones.
I don't know.
I don't find a way to play it.
I don't know.
Do it on Switch.
I don't know if my PlayStation.
You cannot defend or trash it until you play it.
I know. I don't know if my PlayStation Online's still active or not.
It's not a PlayStation game.
Not PlayStation. Nintendo Online.
Oh.
Sorry.
But yeah, I will stand by that game forever. The first time I played it, I was just like, holy shit. I cannot imagine being a kid in the 90s booting up that game for the first time and playing that on the TV. Like, that must have been such a legendary experience, and I wish I could have had that, but I didn't. But I still had such an amazing time playing that game.
I understand, because there are some games where I will die on a hill defending this game. But yeah.
That's why I was like, I gave up, and I was like, okay, I will stop. We can put Super Metroid at number 5, and then the rest can be. And then you were like, thank you. Oh my god.
Okay, but no, what the game that really pissed me off that I got so far, and I'm thinking about playing, was Undertale. I don't like how far that stupid game got.
The reason that I was saying that game had to stay for a while was because of how big of an impact it made on the internet when it came out.
I know, and it was so stupid. I'm like,
Also, it's
so
literally one of
dumb.
Sammy's favorite games of all time. So I was like, and he wasn't going to defend it because he's afraid of confrontation. So I was like, I have to defend this for him.
Okay, but I'm at least the one thing I'm happy about is that Portal 2 got higher than that. I'm
Yeah,
so
Portal 2
happy.
and I agree with that one because Portal 2 is a better game, but it didn't make top 10.
I feel like Portal 2 should have gotten a lot further than it did.
Okay. Next game, Final Fantasy VII, the original, not the remake.
This game, revolutionary. It is just.
It really is. Here's the thing. When I first played it, awesome. But with the new mechanics, I love that. I mean,
remake.
I love the new mechanic. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hear me out.
Oh no, it's not for everybody. I wouldn't say
don't like the stop play part of the game.
My argument for Final Fantasy VII is how big, not necessarily big as in it blew up, which it did blow up, but big as in the size of the actual game. It's 3 discs.
Yeah,
like, that thing was massive.
Yeah, and then there's a part of the game where it's like, oh, I beat the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You literally
you have the entire world.
Yeah, you beat Shinra. You beat them. You beat the heads, and then you're like, oh, this must be the end of the game. And then you leave Midgar, and then you still have the entire world to go through. And then it's like it just lets you do
you
so
have the
insane.
actual planet. Like it's just the actual planet.
That's what I really like about that.
Here's my opinion, and I know this is kind of a hot take because people be glazing this game. I enjoy playing Final Fantasy Remake over Rebirth. I think Remake is more fun to play.
So I have no argument on this because I have not played Rebirth yet.
I feel like the mechanics and the gameplay smoothness and the overall experience of playing the remake is
I will agree.
good.
My first time playing the remake, I was in awe like the whole time. I was like, this is one of the most amazing games I've ever played, but it did not ever quite reach the original for me.
And it's like, especially the remake when it got announced, there were so many people where it was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and then it didn't come out for 5 years.
Yeah.
It got announced and then we didn't get any news on it for three or 4 years, and then we finally got something.
Cough, cough, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. So,
yeah. Okay, next up.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3.
Number 3. Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance.
Is okay, and I want to clarify this. Jake, he's played all the Metal Gear games. Me, I've played a few of them.
Yeah.
To me, this is the best, and it's funny because it's the non-stealth game. This is the best Metal Gear game.
So,
dude, the lore, the music, and just the overall amount of fun that you have while playing this game is insane.
So I had wrote. I don't think I wrote Rising Revengeance at first. I think somebody else did, but I had wrote Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 3. I think 3 is the best of the series, probably of the stealth games. How about that? Of the stealth games, I think 3 is the best one. The story, the combat, the way that the game feels to play, the way that the game looks, that is one of the most pretty PS2 games ever. But
it's also really funny.
Rising Revenge, it also is really funny. Rising Revengeance, which is also really funny. Right? Rising Revengeance is also really funny.
Memes are the DNA of the soul.
Rising Revengeance was such a huge departure.
And I'm so mad.
The series played.
This pisses me off every time.
It stands alone as probably the best one.
It pisses me off every time I have to think about this.
Yeah.
It is the only non-canon Metal Gear game, yet it wouldn't matter because it's so far into the timeline that it would not affect anything.
It's literally at the end of the timeline if it
And,
was canon,
dude,
so it doesn't hurt anything.
Dude,
But
the
Konami
music,
says it's not canon.
the music in that game is just so
It
good.
it
I
makes you
can't.
feel. It
I
makes you feel
can't.
like a fucking god when you're playing the game.
And it's like, just okay. The bosses in that game, dude. I cannot, because
Just talking about it makes me want to play it again.
I'm. Don't hit me.
And okay, another thing.
The Jetstream
yeah.
sand fight.
30 seconds, then move on to the next game, guys.
Okay.
The Armstrong fight. The song for the Armstrong fight. Dude, Raiden lifts like a 10 or 100-ton freaking sword and swings it at light speed, cutting up a robot that is like millions of times bigger than him. It is one of the coolest things. To me, this is one of my favorite games of all time.
Last thing, it has some of the best replay value out of any of the games. There's so many unlocks. Also, the fact that you can knock it out in a day and then play it again and have a completely different experience playing it again because you can play it a different way. Like, is it
real quick? Back to the bosses real quick. The music for the bosses, but also there's one female. There's one female.
She's awesome though.
Boss, and there's only one female sang song, and the song for the female boss is so, dude. Like, the music alone is something that could put this in top 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2. Our favorite Souls game, Bloodborne.
Okay, now to me, and I'm thinking about this. To me, the only other Souls game that could possibly replace this,
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3. Dude, the Soul of Cinder fight alone, the Nameless King alone, is just. There's so much to Dark Souls 3, and then there's Bloodborne, which, dude, okay, I love talking about Bloodborne, but I get mad. I get so pissed off talking about Bloodborne because Sony
refuses to acknowledge it.
Dude, and okay, don't get me wrong. I love Days Gone, and I'm so happy that we're getting something.
Yeah.
They're doing a remaster of Days Gone.
But where the fuck was Bloodborne?
Why?
It's the 10th anniversary this year.
This is the only remaster that will ever actually come to fruition that I will support Sony for. Because all these other remasters that they've been doing are useless.
You can't play. You cannot legally play Bloodborne at 60 frames at all
on a PS5. Like, I feel like it should be against the Geneva Convention, because it is, dude. The parry system is you shooting a gun.
Dude.
You shoot a gun, it staggers the enemy. You drive your fist into its chest.
Also,
the final boss is you trying to save the boss if you decide to fight him.
Okay. 30 seconds for that one.
Okay. My thing is that Bloodborne has the best atmosphere out of any Souls game I've ever played.
It has some of the best lore. Just the fact that you're it's so simple. Just the fact that your character found he got sick, traveled to Yharnam, accepted this old guy who gave you some eldritch blood. You woke up, you were pissed off, you decide to kill everything in a night. And that's pretty much Bloodborne, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 1.
Our number 1.
The
best game of all time. It probably. I mean, Super Metroid. I think is. Yeah, there it is. Shadow of the Colossus, right there.
Dude, okay. The only problem I have with this game is that there's not enough.
Yep.
Because okay, if they did a re-release, like an actual like re-release of this game on a PS5, I know there's the remake,
The PS4
but
remake, yeah.
I think it'd be even cooler if they did another re-release and added all the Titans that they didn't add because it was on a PS2.
So originally when the game was being developed, they had 48, I believe, in mind. And then they had to narrow it down because of hardware limitations. And they narrowed it down to 24. And then they had to cut it down even more because of hardware limitations. And also some of the fights they thought were ending up kind of iffy. And they wanted to make sure that every fight felt substantial. Like it felt like, holy shit, I just cleared a huge milestone every time you do it. Because the whole game is boss fights. That's the whole objective.
I know there's some people that are gonna be like, oh well, then that's it, dude. You don't understand. Especially on the first playthrough, the wow that you feel because dude, there are some Colossus, and one of my favorite Colossus is the bird one, because you get so high up in the air, and you just have to grab on for dear life, and then once the bird gets steady enough, you have to run onto different parts of its body, stab it, grab back on, rinse and repeat.
And
okay. For your number one spot, I feel that you had like Christmas lights in your eyes. Because what you're describing is just the showmanship of great graphics.
No,
it's not the
no,
graphics.
the graphics are
one of the
kind
best
of terrible
games I have ever played, and I'm so weirded out that it never made it on this list. Fable.
No.
Fable, listen to me. Listen to me. Fable doesn't have enough. Fable does not have enough to make top 10. Here's why. Don't get me wrong.
They can never make it number 3. That's for damn sure, because that's been.
It is.
Because
you know how long I've been on beta for that one.
It's because the dude fucking he tried to do a Kickstarter to do a new black and white game, and then it didn't make it. So
Fable,
he just gave up on
don't
making
get me
video
wrong.
games.
Fable is a great game, but it's so limited.
What are you talking about? Limited? You can have a wife, make a kid. You can have a wife, make a kid, and you can play as the kid.
Okay, Colin, listen. Fable, you can have a person commission a statue for you, and you'll pose for it, and you can shit your pants, and then they'll make a statue of you shitting your pants. Fable is pretty awesome for that. Like the fact that you can have a wife and they'll leave for a long time and come back, and she'll be like, "What the hell?" and then try and leave you and divorce you and make you have to pay child support, and then you could go and shoot her. Like it's
yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Okay, but I just awesome. to me.
You never played Dark Side on that one.
It's so hard.
Fucking fun.
It's so hard to get rid of any of these games. Because to me, okay, so there's a few things I have to on this list. I need a Resident Evil game. That is, the Resident Evil game needs to be on this list.
I need a Souls game too.
Souls game, obviously. Shadow of Colossus, though, I will not budge. It is. Don't get me wrong, Bloodborne and Shadow of Colossus actively just cutting each other. It's there. That's how close this was. But
here's the thing.
Fallout New Vegas, I could get rid of. Halo. If you spoke to me hard enough, I could maybe break.
Okay. Now saying that, there's games out there that I just picked up on accident. Like me and a friend of mine picked up this game. And it's more or less what genre that you like and what you're into. Me and a friend of mine picked up this game called World War III. It was basically a Red Alert, Command and Conquer. But it was an independent game. Dude, we spent weeks on that game. Just going at each other. It's stuff like that in my opinion, because okay.
I will say there are
You're gonna trash talk me for this game, and the only reason why I love this game because it is the last standing game you can find a friend, hang out, order pizza, get Mountain Dew if you want to. Have two controllers, because you have to have two controllers to do this, and play a couch game, and that's Borderlands. Borderlands might. I'm not done yet. Slowly roll. It is the last game that a father and son can sit on a couch, hang out, play it, do awesome stuff and everything.
There's Borderlands on there, Jake.
I know it's on there.
I wrote down. Hey, look, Jake, David. I will tell you. I did write down a Borderlands game. I wrote down Borderlands 2.
I think my problem is that
they had so much DLC on there.
Well,
Borderlands 2 is the best one.
Me personally,
hands down. Because
Borderlands 2 is the best
one. On Borderlands 3.
And I'm excited. I'm excited for Borderlands 4. It looks sick.
I think for me, the thing that kills Borderlands for me is that I'm just not a big fan of looter shooters. I'm just not really a big looter shooter guy.
To me,
the rarities don't really mean anything to me.
My problem with Borderlands isn't really a problem with the IP. It's the co-op, right? For like Borderlands 1. I was one achievement away from getting all of the achievements, right? I unlocked the base 1,000 for the game, and then all the DLC. Fort Knox's Armory. The guy that I was co-oping with glitched himself through the floor and stopped the timer in the because you had like so many minutes, like a minute or two to go in and grab as much as you could and get out before you were locked in. The second that he glitched through the floor, the door shut, time stopped, and the way that Xbox Live works is that if you use cheat codes on a game, you don't unlock achievements for it anymore, like ever. So I'm like, oh, I was so pissed because I got out. My timer was still running, so I got out, and I'm standing out there, and I'm fighting General Knox, right, in the big red mech suit that he had.
Yeah.
I beat him, and I'm like, hell yeah. Why didn't my achievement pop? He goes, oh, I glitched through the floor. You didn't see me? I was like, dude. He goes, no, man, just go back and reload it. And I was like, it won't let me go back and reload it because it auto-saved. And he's like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. I was so pissed. Like, to this day, I still have not picked up the original Borderlands and gone back in to try to play back through it, specifically for that reason.
I feel like there's just so many. I just feel like Borderlands as a game couldn't make top 10.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The whole reason why, like I said,
I feel like Borderlands is a fun game.
It's on my top 10 that I will always pick up a Borderlands game. One, it has Borderlands 2 was like very well written because there's a lot of stuff that it's fucking hilarious. It has that comedy.
I enjoy probably one of the best, if not the best character in the entire game.
Claptrap?
No, Tiny Tina.
Oh, Tiny Tina.
Yeah. And it pisses me off in the movie how they portrayed her.
I never watched it, so
I refused to watch that movie. I refused.
Anyways,
you cannot put Kevin Hart in a Borderlands movie.
Getting it back to the topic is the fact that it is a couch game.
Okay, but there's so many couch games that are better.
We had Smash Ultimate up here. I mean,
play a game where you're both sitting on the couch. You're both contributing. They used to have those games. There's several of them.
It takes two. It takes
literally every game that's being released by those guys. It takes two.
It takes two.
They're making a new game that comes out this year.
How many of the times have you played that with
Way Out?
No. how many games have you played without that? Both sit down and you both look at each other going, okay, we got to go through here. Okay, yeah. You're doing tactics. It's so
Literally the entire franchise of Halo that I played with my dad.
Or if
Okay,
you're playing a Souls game in multiplayer, you can.
And dude, Souls
Right,
game
to
in
be more
multiplayer is much.
specific, David,
You're
David, to be more specific as far as like what Colin said about the whole entire Halo franchise. Yes, you can run a gun and you can do whatever. I forced Colin to pie corners and clear rooms and yell frag out whenever he would toss something because friendly fire is a thing in that game. So I had to teach Colin how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but for the first few parts, I just went in to a room and then instantly got shot by every enemy, and then I was dead.
Speaking of couch games, I would like to put my heart out to all of the fighting games that I put up
Okay,
here.
I want to formally
Put your heart out to
apologize.
everybody. Yeah.
I would like to formally apologize. I did not realize that after this list was done that there were no fighting games on there, and then afterwards I was like,
so many, and
okay,
he knocked off all of them.
As much as I like all the fighting games that we put on there, the one that I've enjoyed the most playing is Dragon Ball Fighters. That's just me. That's just me. To me, no, listen to me. Hold on, wait. To me, I know it's not the best, but the amount of fun I've had playing Dragon Ball
I've
Fighters,
probably had the most
because
fun playing that game with you guys.
the animation and just I love how unique each character is, and Bandai and Arc System Works better pull their heads out of their asses and work together, because I need a Fighters 2. I need it, dude.
One Piece.
I would take a Fighters 2 before One Piece. One Piece fighting game. Because don't get me wrong, One Piece fighting game would be awesome. Freaking Gear 5, dude.
Anyways.
But
you know what I love about video game conversations and top 10 lists and things like that is that it's endlessly debatable. Okay.
Yeah,
that's okay, but as we said, there were some games we forgot to just write down.
And that will always be the case. There are some games that we have never played that probably some people think are the best games ever made that
I wrote down, for instance,
wrote them.
I wrote down Monster Hunter. I wrote down Monster Hunter Worlds. That game to me is okay. Not only is it the best Monster Hunter game, but it is one of the best games.
Because my personal top 10 would probably look wildly different from this one, but this is a collection of, well, mostly mine and Colin's, because Sammy backed down on literally every single game that he wrote. So,
but to be fair, he didn't write down incredibly great games. Like
I'm trying to
okay,
look.
I'm talking about ones that would make top 10.
He wrote down like Outer Wilds. He wrote down Shovel Knight. He wrote down Super Mario Wonder, Earthbound.
Hold on, time out. He wrote down. Sammy wrote down Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
he beat Jake to it.
Even after, this was after. I was like, oh hey, I found a copy of it out in the wild, and I was like,
yeah, this was after.
Buy it.
Yeah, this was after.
What is
okay,
that?
we're at the 2-minute mark. We gotta close it off in a minute so we can get our freaking clips in, so we can get views. Blah blah blah.
All right, guys,
keep this going. But yeah,
the plane.
Yeah, we're gonna land this plane. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm David Dicker.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
He pressed his mute button. Your mute button. What was that, Bill? You know what? We have like 30
I'm
seconds.
not muted.
Oh, you say your name.
I'm calling.
Okay.
Jake.
I'm not
Jake.
muted.
I'm Jake. I'm Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating with this evening's festivities. David, I'm sorry I'm not trying to step on you, but this has been an episode gloriously brought to you. What the hell? D.O.G.E balls. Have a good night, everybody.